and welcome to Capture. I'm Hunter Foote. We begin today with a movement known as Wanted by Walsh that has become one of the most widely discussed issues on APU's campus. We were supposed to have a source today from Wanted by Walsh on set with us. However, they canceled a few moments before the show began. So we have Capture's own Clint Simone who will be joining us.
Yes, Hunter, we do not have them joining us on set, unfortunately, but what we do have in their place is a text message sent to us very recently within the last hour or so. Let me read the text message. It does state, "I was talking to the rest of the group about this interview in the context of our strategy, and we still really want to do this interview. But there are a lot of things happening in the next few days which might conflict. After Friday, there will be a lot more we can talk about because we will be releasing a lot of information to keep the student body informed. That new info will also clarify some of the things we discuss in this interview. So we decided we won't do this today. I am really sorry for the late notice. We really just need to focus on these next few things coming up right now." And that text message did come from one of the members leading this Wanted by Walsh movement.
So where did this movement start? I mean, there's got to be an instigating movement. What happened?
And that's a great question. So what we can do is we go directly to the list of demands started by this Wanted by Walsh movement. This is quoting directly from their Facebook page. Their demand is the dismissal of Jennifer Walsh from her position as the Dean of the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, effective immediately. And that is in bold letters, effective immediately. You say, where did this all start? Well, we can look one place specifically. Starts, again, quoting from them, "The unethical criminalization of Frank Romero Crockett, the Associate Director of Los Angeles Term and a staff member of color who was recently terminated."
So we don't know much. I mean, our source isn't here. Between you researching for Capture and myself researching for the clause, we just don't know a lot. We've had a lot of people decline to interview. Like, what can we know from their demands, and what does this look like going forward? Do we have any sources?
And that's exactly right. This has been a very convoluted process. You and I and many other student journalists on campus have tried to be at the center point in the story. We do have one source of clarity, though, and that does come from the Dean Jennifer Walsh herself. She did create a statement for us a few days ago, and it reads as follows. "Thank you, Capture, for your efforts to help students to think rationally about what might be going on. Mr. Romero's departure was a surprise to many, so I understand that there is a great deal of speculation about what might have happened. However, out of respect to the privacy of all parties involved, I cannot comment on confidential personnel matters. I can tell you that all personnel-related decisions are made thoughtfully, carefully, and with much discussion and consultation. This situation was no different."
Sure. So the only source right now that we have is from Jennifer Walsh. We've tried to reach out to Frank Romero Crockett from the clause. We've tried to reach out to the Wanted by Walsh movement from Capture. Can we talk about a little bit what this means going forward? Do we know? They've been protesting on campus. What did that look like?
The protests on campus have started to gain traction. This whole movement, they're trying to create informational awareness really for all students on campus. We have seen students around campus wearing signs that say Wanted by Walsh. They're trying to make direct statements that they are wanted, and again, trying to spread around this awareness.
Sure, and we have from a source that also the Latin America Student Association and other ethnic groups on campus are getting behind this movement, and we'll have a separate list of demands coming soon, as well as whatever big events are happening tomorrow. So we'll just stay tuned on that information. We also know that there is a 7:30 meeting tonight, which the clause will be there and present and covering. So students can look out for the clause after Thanksgiving for more information on that. So for more information on the protest, you can go to the Wanted by Walsh Facebook page. I will be also sitting down with the Dean Walsh tomorrow, as well as representatives from the Wanted by Walsh protest tonight for an extensive story for the clause, which will be coming out after Thanksgiving. Moving on. Last week, we introduced you to a few of the many entrepreneurs here on campus, and Tuesday night was a big moment for them. Let's go to Coco for the report on this year's Zoo Ventures.
APU just wrapped up its second annual Zoo Ventures business plan competition. Over the past 8 weeks, students competed in front of a panel of professional judges to win the grand prize of $15,000, a sum that would help them launch their original business plans. Business plans range from clothing brands and magazines to art companies and even new app ideas. Third place winner was Jeremy Riggleman, who received a $2,000 check to kickstart his art selling company. Second place went to our very own Hunter Foote for her Laurel magazine proposal, and she received $3,000. And finally, junior communications major Devin DeHarden won first place for his clothing brand, called Perspectives. Perspectives Clothing is a mix between European and American style. They donate a portion of their funds to nonprofit organizations, and their desire is to bring communities together and be an advocate for global social justice. Congratulations to all of our Cougars that participated in that event. Back to you, Hunter.
Thanks, Coco. It is official. Beloved campus pastor Christy Adams has decided to resign. She told students in a morning chapel service that she feels ready to move back across the country to her home on the East Coast. Capture reporters Angela Pacheco and Angel Alea sat down with Christy to discuss her parting thoughts.
I didn't really have deal breakers. It was more of a life change and a shift for me. Because if I had boiled it down to deal breakers, I probably never would have left. You know what I mean? Because these are all deal sealers here, not deal breakers. I have so many reasons to stay. And so that was really frustrating. But just wanting to move forward and figure out how, which direction my life was going in. I think the biggest thing for me was my family and wanting to be closer to them, and some of my friends. I've made some great friendships here. So, it wasn't just a friend thing. I want to be close to my friends. I have great friends and extended family here, but my family is very important to me. And so I was thinking about how far I am from them and how long that is a sustainable life, to be this far. So that was a big factor. But then the other part of it, too, is just me wanting some time to pursue some of the other things in my life that I'm really passionate about that I haven't had a lot of space to do in the past few years, and understandably so. I feel like a lot has been poured into me here, as well as I've poured out a lot as well. But this job kind of requires that all of, if not majority of your attention and energies be here. And so I was thinking about, other spaces in my life that have been neglected that I'd like to devote energies to. So it was just a variety of those things, and it just became, not a which one was better or worse. It was just which one, because both of them were great. Just proved to be not just great options, but really great sustainable lives for me. But which one, was a little bit more realistic as far as the direction that I was headed in. So.
It is a bittersweet time for campus pastor Christy Adams as she starts a new chapter. If you want to know more about her reason for leaving, visit her blog site at ChristyLaurenAdams.com. Pastor Christy encourages students to come and say their goodbyes on Friday, December 5th after Christmas Chapel on West Campus. In other APU news, last Friday, APU students dressed up and headed off to the annual Femme Dance. At the yearly Femme Dance, roles are reversed and girls are given the opportunity to ask the guys to be their date for the night. This year's dance was held at the Angel Stadium in Anaheim. Students got the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to go down to the home plate and snap a picture with baseball gear on. It looked like a great time. Not only was the weekend full of fun and dancing, but it was also a big weekend for APU athletics. After dropping to the 8th position in Super Region 3 last week, the Cougar football team was not able to climb back into the top 6 and did not receive a playoff berth. The team still did end on a high note, securing their second consecutive 10-win season with a 54-0 shutout of Menlo College on Saturday. Men's soccer fell 1-0 against Cal State LA in the second round of NCAA playoffs on Saturday. The Golden Eagles scored the game-winning goal in the 65th minute. Women's volleyball hosted California Baptist and Point Loma last week in the team's final 2 matches of the regular season. The Cougars swept the Lancers on Wednesday, however lost in the 5th set to the Sea Lions on Saturday. The team ranks 7th in the Pac-West final standings with an even 10-10 conference record. In other APU sports news, women's basketball defeated the number 2 Cal Poly Pomona Broncos in a thrilling double overtime game on Saturday. The team took another win against Cal State LA on Tuesday night, extending their opening record to 3-0. Men's basketball didn't quite have the same luck against the Broncos on Saturday, falling in overtime by just 3 points. A 25-point win on Tuesday against Occidental puts the Cougars 2-1 on the season. Dances and sports are all that it means to be a college student. However, if you haven't thought about it yet, it's time to think about it. Yep, I'm talking about internships. As college students, it is ideal to get on the bandwagon and build that resume.
Internships is crucial to a student's career. Internships can do positive things for a resume and for you as a person in the workforce. Head of the Communications Study Department Internship Program, Marcia Berry, discusses this.
Actual real-life experience, and it's called sometimes experiential learning. And it's almost like an apprentice program. You go out and work with a professional in the field. You learn what works, what doesn't work, and you just opens up that whole new world. Another reason it's marvelous is it is what you put on your resume. Students need to list resume, and it used to be that just working might do it, but now when they look at the resume, they want to see that you've done PR here, or you worked at this newspaper or this magazine or something like that. And so you want to be able to list as many of those on your resume because it makes you stand out.
When getting an internship, sometimes it isn't what you know, but who you know. Although it is uncomfortable at first, networking can be the ticket to getting a foot in the door.
Networking it can be so awkward, but I think the best kind of networking is just naturally building relationships with people, whether that's, people you work with or, go to school with. It's really just building those friendships and communicating and connecting, whether that's like on social media or, in person, class, work. It's one of those things that is intentional. Building relationships is intentional, so it requires effort, but it can be really rewarding.
If there is a limit to your network, don't worry. You can build your base by finding internships online. Helpful websites like entertainmentcareers.net and internmatch.com help you find internships around your area and in your field. You can also see their blog that offer great tips and articles regarding your internship experience. Plus, you can go to your desired company site and check to see if they have internship opportunities there. The possibilities are out there, so get talking, get searching, and build that resume.
One day college will end and the real life will start, and the more prepared you are, the better. Thanks for that report, Angel and Paige. If you have any questions or concerns about internships, make sure to visit the Career Services office located on East Campus behind the Cougar Dome. Moving on to U.S. news, Thursday morning, a gunman opened fire in Florida State University's library before being killed in a shootout with police. 3 FSU students were wounded, 1 critically. Officers confronted the shooter at 12:30 a.m. outside the library, telling him to drop his weapon, then shot him when he opened fire on the police. The identity has not been released of the shooter nor those who were shot. Motive has not been determined, but police believe he was acting alone. Campus was declared all clear at 4 a.m. this morning. All 50 states experienced freezing temperatures on Tuesday night, leaving 50% of the U.S. covered in snow and ice. The storm brought nearly 5 feet of snowfall to Buffalo, New York, closing down more than 100 miles of major interstate. The cause, Arctic air mixing with the relatively warm waters of the Great Lakes, producing extreme lake effect snowfall. There have been 7 casualties linked to the frigid weather. 2 people have passed away due to heart attacks suffered while shoveling snow, and 1 man died after being trapped inside of his car by heavy snow. If you're traveling to the East Coast this Thanksgiving, bundle up and stay safe. And with Thanksgiving right around the corner, it may be time to accept Black Friday is turning into Black Thursday. At a Best Buy near Los Angeles, 2 people have been camped out since November 12th, one claiming spot 1 and 2 in line, awaiting incredible deals. Best Buy will open their doors at 5 p.m. on Thanksgiving Day, but they're not the only ones infringing on dinner time. Kohl's, Macy's, and Target will open at 6 p.m., promising customers 30 hours of uninterrupted shopping until Friday at 11 p.m. Whether or not you agree with these extended hours, the fact remains, you only have 34 days to get all your Christmas shopping done. Happy Thanksgiving, and keep your wits about you while you're shopping. And speaking of Christmas gifts, we all know what it feels like to receive perhaps not what you expected. Now let's see how students on campus respond in these situations.
I respond to a bad Christmas present by being super respectful of it because they got you a present. However, I'm not oh yeah, man, I got a cool Christmas present. I'm just oh, thank you so much. I like it. Yeah.
I opened it up and I put a fake smile on my face, and hopefully my grandma, who usually gets me the bad clothes or the ugly sweater, and I really hope that my mom got the gift receipt so I can go and return it, hopefully pocket some cash and go buy something that I want. Or if it's something that they didn't have a gift receipt, I smile and laugh and say thank you, and then it usually goes at the bottom of a closet or a drawer somewhere.
So you look in their face and you say, oh, thank you so much for this gift. Is the receipt in the bag just in case I need to exchange it for anything? And then put it back. Oh yeah, you send it back, and yeah.
Probably respond like my boy Kanye. So for Christmas, my grandma got me a new sweater. Looked at it, gave it right back to her, told her she could do better. No, I'm just kidding. I love you, Grandma. If I got a bad present, I would probably tell her I'm allergic to cotton. She'll look at me and she'll be like, oh, it's wool. Well, I'm allergic to wool too. And then I just sit there until she says something and hopefully takes it back.
And that concludes our final capture show of the semester. Happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, and we look forward to reconnecting with you next semester.